Welcome to Double Your Vocabulary, the podcast that helps you speak English with confidence and fluency.
Today, your language coaches, Iris and Ernesto, are here to tackle a super practical skill, negotiating a price in English. Even our little schnauzer friend, Spody, is ready to listen.
That's right. We're diving into real-life scenarios to give you the exact phrases you need to get a better deal.
We believe the best way to learn is by doing, so we're going to simulate 3 different situations where you might need to haggle. Let's jump into the practice samples.
All right, for our first sample, imagine you're buying a used item from a private seller online.
Okay, I'm the buyer, and you're selling a vintage camera. Let's start.
This vintage camera is in fantastic condition, barely used, asking $200.
It looks great in the pictures. Is there any wiggle room on the price?
Well, $200 is pretty firm considering its age and how well it's been kept.
I understand. Would you be willing to part with it for $170? I could pick it up this afternoon.
I could meet you in the middle at $185. How does that sound?
That's a fair counteroffer. Deal. I'll be in touch to arrange the pickup.
Excellent. Now, for our second situation, you're looking to hire someone for a service, like painting your house.
Perfect. I'm the client this time, and you're the painter giving me a quote. Go ahead.
For painting the entire interior of your house, including materials, the total would come to $3,500.
That's a bit higher than I anticipated. Is there any way to bring that cost down?
We could use a slightly less expensive brand of paint, which would reduce it by about $200.
I'm looking for a total closer to $3,000. What's the best you can offer if I provide the paint myself?
If you supply the paint, we can do the labor for $2,800. That's our rock bottom price.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'll consider it and get back to you soon.
And for our third and final practice, you're at a local market, buying several items from one vendor.
Great, I'm the customer, and you're the vendor with a stall full of handmade crafts. What have you got?
I have these beautiful handmade scarves, usually $25 each, but I can do 3 for $60.
They're lovely. I'm actually interested in 5 scarves. Would you be able to give me a bulk discount?
5 scarves, you say? How about $95 for all 5?
Could you do $90? That would really seal the deal for me right now.
All right, for 5, I can let them go for $90. You drive a hard bargain.
Fantastic, I'll take them. Thank you so much.
Wow, those were some great examples of negotiating in action.
Absolutely. In the first sample, we heard wiggle room and part with it for. These are very natural phrases.
Wiggle room means there's flexibility in the price, and part with it for is a polite way to suggest a lower price.
And then we used meet you in the middle, which is a classic way to suggest a compromise.
For the second simulation, a bit higher than I anticipated is a polite way to express that the price is too much.
And bring that cost down is a direct and clear request for a reduction. Rock bottom price means the absolute lowest they can go.
Finally, in the market scene, bulk discount is perfect when you're buying multiple items.
And seal the deal means to finalize the agreement, often by reaching a mutually acceptable price.
These phrases are incredibly useful. They help you communicate your offer clearly and respectfully.
Practicing these in different contexts will make you much more confident when you need to negotiate in real life.
Let's really dig into the excellent language and ideas we just heard in those simulated conversations.
Paying attention to these specific expressions and how they fit into different interactions can significantly build your conversational confidence.
For instance, when inquiring about flexibility on a cost, asking, "Is there any wiggle room on the price?" is a very common and friendly way to do it.
Alternatively, you might ask, Are you open to discussing the overall cost? Or could we talk about the asking amount to convey the same message without using that exact phrase?
Then, to propose a particular lower figure, would you be willing to part with it for? Effectively suggests you are ready to buy at that rate.
Another option to make a direct offer is, what if I offered X sum? Or I'd be comfortable paying around X sum. These are clear and easy to understand.
When a suggestion came up to meet in the middle, that's a tried and true method for suggesting a shared compromise that both parties can agree on.
You could also hear, let's aim for a middle ground, or perhaps we can settle somewhere between our offers when working toward a mutual understanding.
Expressing that something costs a bit higher than I anticipated is a very courteous way to indicate that the expense exceeds your expectations without sounding negative.
A simpler way to put it might be, that's a little above my planned spending, or my budget was slightly under that figure, both communicating the same sentiment.
And the query, is there any way to bring that cost down, is a straightforward and polite appeal for a price reduction.
You might also consider saying, what alternatives do we have to lower the total expense? Or are there any modifications we could make to reduce the price?
When a seller declared a rock bottom price, they were making it clear that there was no further reduction possible. It signifies their absolute final quote.
This tells you the seller has offered their lowest possible rate. Related terms include my absolute lowest offer, or this is the best I can do.
Lastly, in the setting of the market, the concept of a bulk discount is perfectly suited when purchasing multiple items.
It means you anticipate paying less per unit because you're acquiring a larger quantity. You might also hear it called a quantity reduction.
And to seal the deal signifies finalizing the agreement, ensuring all arrangements are confirmed.
That's right. Other ways to express this could be, let's make this official, or let's confirm our understanding. Both indicate closure.
Now, let's look at how these useful expressions can be applied in various everyday contexts, not just typical buying and selling scenarios.
Understanding their broader uses will really empower you to use them more often in your daily conversations.
Think about wiggle room. Beyond costs, you could use it when planning. For instance, is there any wiggle room in our travel schedule? If you want to be flexible.
Precisely. Or if a friend offers you a ride but you're not quite ready, you might ask, is there any wiggle room on the departure time? I need 5 more minutes.
Meet in the middle is perfect for resolving disagreements. Imagine two classmates debating which topic to choose for a presentation.
They could say, how about we meet in the middle and combine parts of both our ideas? It helps find a solution everyone can accept.
Applying bring that cost down isn't limited to purchases. You might say, we need to find a way to bring down the time it takes to finish this task.
Absolutely, it applies to reducing any kind of expense or effort. Or, the amount of paper we're using is too much. Let's bring that cost down environmentally.
The phrase rock bottom price also extends to other lowest possible situations. For example, this is my rock bottom limit for screen time before bed.
Meaning I cannot go any lower than this without consequences. Or, my patience is at a rock bottom point right now, so please be quick.
And finally, seal the deal can refer to any agreement you're looking to confirm. Picture a sales team trying to secure a new client.
The team leader might say, we need to present a strong proposal today to seal the deal with that big company. It emphasizes closing the agreement.
Or, if you're planning a weekend getaway with family, you might say, once we confirm the hotel, that will really seal the deal for our trip.
Now, let's examine how you can adjust your language to sound more casual or more polite, depending on who you are speaking with and the specific circumstances.
It truly comes down to careful word selection and the overall feeling you want to create, helping you communicate appropriately in any given moment.
For instance, if you're requesting a favor from a close friend, your language would likely be very relaxed. Hey, could you grab me a coffee?
However, if you're making the same request to a colleague or someone you respect, a more polite phrasing would be, "Would you mind getting me a coffee, please?"
Another scenario, when you're turning down an invitation from a friend, a relaxed response might be, can't make it to the party, sorry.
To a manager or someone in a position of authority, a more polite refusal would be, "I regret that I won't be able to attend, but I appreciate the invitation."
When pointing out a minor issue in a casual setting, you might simply state, this app is acting weird.
To be more polite, especially when providing feedback to a service provider, you could say, "I've noticed a small glitch with this application. Could you offer some assistance?"
Consider making a suggestion. With your immediate family, you might say, let's just order some pizza for dinner.
In a more polite group setting, perhaps a work lunch, you might suggest, "Perhaps we could consider ordering pizza for our meal tonight."
These subtle modifications in your phrasing, such as choosing, would you mind, instead of a simple can you, or I regret that, over I can't, make a significant impact.
Paying close attention to these finer points enables you to communicate both effectively and respectfully in diverse social interactions. Okay, let's dive into some rapid-fire situations to put these concepts into action. First, imagine you're at a flea market and a seller quotes a price that feels much too high for an item you really want.
You could politely express, that's quite a bit more than I was hoping to spend. Would there be any flexibility on the total?
Next up, two colleagues need to schedule a project meeting, but their available times don't quite align.
A great approach is to suggest, perhaps we could find a middle point that works for both our calendars. This invites a shared solution.
Finally, consider a team realizing they're over budget on a project and need to cut expenditures.
They might say, we need to identify options to bring those expenditures down, focusing on managing costs effectively.
Before we sign off, let's do a quick recap of our top 3 takeaways for boosting your communication.
First, get comfortable with phrases that open up discussions about prices or terms, like asking about possibilities for adjustment.
Secondly, always be ready with language that helps bridge gaps and establish shared agreements, seeking common ground between viewpoints.
And most importantly, remember to fine-tune your language for politeness and formality, matching your words to your audience and the specific setting.
And that's our time for today. We truly hope these insights help you speak American English with greater confidence and adaptability.
Remember to practice these new expressions in your everyday chats.
Subscribe to double your vocabulary for more fantastic language lessons, and don't forget to hit that notification bell.